To shake the FBI, she gives away the only jacket on her back, hands it to a total stranger at the slots. Good thing this is Las Vegas. Row after row of machines, and just like that, she's gone. She thinks she's clear. Then she hears someone behind her call her name. Lucky! The con artist is Lucky. The woman chasing her is FBI Special Agent Billy Rand. Her cover's blown, so she drops straight down into a packed restaurant. Rand has already called for backup. Starting a panic would only trap her in here. So she pulls off her cap, tosses it on a chair, and slides into a new character, waitress. She grabs an empty beer crate on the way through. With a prop in her hands, nobody in the back even looks up. Just in case, she swipes a staff badge off a counter. Every restaurant has a delivery entrance, so she heads for the deepest part of the kitchen. And true to her name, the way out is sitting right there.
Anybody seen a redhead? Tank top. Anybody?
She clocks a security guard and calmly steers wide. Then she shoves through the door and stops dead. It's wide open out here. Nowhere to hide. Doubling back means getting caught, so she grits her teeth and keeps running. What she doesn't know is that Rand is right behind her, already sweeping that empty hall with a team.
This place goes on forever.
Running forever isn't a plan, so she pulls a set of coveralls off a rack and gets into them. Down here, it's a maze. If you don't know the building, you'll never find the way out. And just as she's running out of ideas, she catches a break. She tucks herself out of sight first, and then she sees them, a whole row of delivery trucks. So she improvises. She digs a compact out of her pocket and starts smudging her own makeup, turning herself into a woman who's just been knocked around.
Excuse me, sir, can you help me?
Are you okay?
I'm fine. My boyfriend's just an asshole when he drinks.
I'm gonna call the cops.
No. But if you could get me out of here, that would be really helpful. Please.
And of course, she picks the driver with the kindest face. Lucky as ever, she talks her way straight into the cab.
I'll be done in a minute loading up and we'll get you somewhere safe.
Thank you. Thank you.
But a loading dock is full of eyes. Any second, someone could make her. Every extra minute in here is another minute closer to a pair of handcuffs. If that gate check hadn't slowed them down, Rand might have had her, because the truck rolls out and the cops come around the corner seconds later.
You think she's still here?
Not a chance.
So why is half of Nevada hunting this woman? For that, we have to go back to the night before. She and her husband, Carrie, are holed up in a penthouse suite on the Strip, but something feels wrong to her. Carrie tells her she's being paranoid. Stop worrying about things that are never going to happen. So they head downstairs to celebrate, leaving 2 cases stuffed with cash sitting in the room, which is, of course, exactly what she's worried about. But the music and the crowd wash it away. Later, they end up on the rooftop. Even a view like that can't touch the feeling in her gut. Here's the plan. The money they took is dirty, and nobody will notice it's missing until 9 the next morning. By then, they'll be on a plane, 6 hours from the rest of their lives.
To our old life.
To our old life.
Carrie makes the night as romantic as it gets. He's also starting the worst day she'll ever have. Because she sleeps like the dead, and when she finally opens her eyes, it's almost noon. Her arms and legs won't answer. Standing up takes everything she's got. Carrie's not there, and her phone, of all the nights, is dead. She drags herself into the living room, and both cases of cash are gone. And that's when it lands. Her own husband played her. The blood goes straight to her head. Her chest feels like something dropped on it. But she knows sitting on that floor is a death sentence. The clock is already running. She forces herself upright and drains a full glass of water. Turns out her gut was right. Agent Rand has followed the trail all the way here.
Good morning, people. I'm Agent Rand. Good morning. I want a full grid search of this hotel. That means every club, every bar, every gaming table, every restaurant, every spa, every shop. Let's go, let's go!
The hotel is locked down. Rand's plan is simple: rattle the cage hard enough, and whoever's inside has to move. Lucky walks into the lobby, just in time to catch the news. She and her husband are wanted for stealing millions. The money is mob money that vanished 2 years ago out of a biodiesel scheme. Could be 10 million, tied to a $200 million fraud against the government. True or not, Lucky is now holding the bag for the money and for everything attached to it. Her only move is to vanish. But before she can reach the doors, she sees the squad cars sealing every exit. So she ducks back into an elevator. Going back up to the room is suicide, so she turns straight around, throws a housekeeping towel over her head, and creeps along behind a linen cart until she spots the stairwell, then slips inside. No cameras in here, so she just runs. Meanwhile, Rand is up in that suite reading the room. 2 people checked in, 1 left, and whoever left in a hurry.
You thinking a strategic separation or a breakup?
All I know is he's gone and the money's gone.
The cameras hand them a description, jeans, and a red hoodie. She's already stolen a cap, and she still stands out like a flare. She actually makes it out the front doors. And walking straight at her is a mob enforcer. The FBI means prison. These people mean a hole in the desert. So she loops back the way she came. He doesn't drop off. And in the middle of all that, she walks right past Agent Rand. 1 second later, the red hoodie gives her away.
That's her! That's her! Go, 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 go!
Hey! You!
We got eyes on the girl. She just hit the gaming floor. Close all the exits.
The mob doesn't want that kind of heat, so the enforcer melts into the crowd, which leaves Lucky nowhere to go but the casino floor. And that's where we came in. Brains and luck get her out. The truck drops her at a shopping center, phone finally charged. She tries the helpless act one more time to squeeze out some cash, and the driver calls it. He clocked those fake bruises a long time ago. He just figured she was in real trouble either way. And since she's about his daughter's age, he hands over every dollar he's got.
I hope it gets you where you want to go.
Then she gets out and she can't help herself. She makes a call.
The person you are trying to reach is unavailable.
Carrie doesn't pick up. And that one small slip is about to cost her everything, because after losing her, the Bureau went back through the footage frame by frame, spotted the mob muscle in the crowd, and put a trace on her phone. She's careful at least. First stop, scissors, and hair dye. Off comes the length, and the red goes blonde. New face, new look, and she walks into the tour bus depot like she belongs there. But the sweep is tightened. How do you get on a bus with cops checking every passenger? She buys a ticket to the Grand Canyon and then doesn't line up like a tourist. She's going to get on at the last possible second when nobody's looking. And right on cue, a guy wanders past holding an umbrella. She takes her shot and slips aboard just before the doors shut. She thinks she's pulled it off again. What she doesn't know is that the mob watched every second of it. Once the bus clears the city, her phone rings. It's a collect call from prison. On the other end is her father, John, and it was her last visit to him that lit this whole fuse.
For us. There's something I need you to move for me.
He'd told her to move a pile of dirty money, enough to set the two of them up for good. The middleman they burned would take the fall eventually, and once the boss noticed the shortfall, somebody was going to bleed for it. Lucky didn't know the details. She knew enough to know it would never end clean.
That's not my concern right now.
Me.
And John still has no idea that his son-in-law already ran with the cash. Lucky can't bring herself to break his heart, so she tells him she'll get a new number and call him back. But taking that call just handed the FBI her exact location. So when the bus pulls into a gas station, she's halfway through a sandwich when the cops walk in.
FBI, don't move!
That was fast. What are the odds of outrunning a drawn weapon? She's not a killer, and she's betting they won't pull the trigger. She turns and bolts, except the fence cuts her off.
Lucky! There's nowhere to go, Lucky!
And she runs, rooftop to rooftop, cops tracking her from the ground. She's carrying too much speed and she goes down hard. The gap is right there in front of her, and a cop steps into it.
Stop now!
She's got nothing left in the tank, and nobody outruns a barrel at this range.
Get on your knees and toss the bag.
So she does what she's told. Maybe this was always how it was going to end. Then someone walks up behind her, and a car comes flying in and seals the gap. She hears a round chamber before she sees him. It's Dutch, Priscilla's enforcer.
She'd like a word.
Hello, dear. It's been a while.
They shove her into the car and leave the cop bleeding out on the asphalt behind them. And the woman sitting across from her is nobody's stranger. It's her mother-in-law, the one who runs the family.
Didn't know you were out.
I'm pretty sure you did. Where's my money?
It's not your money.
What they want is simple: where's the money and where's her son? My husband robbed me is a hard sell. So Priscilla stops being polite.
You're right, Lucky. It's not my money, and you know whose it is, so you can imagine what's going to happen to you and to John if he doesn't get it back.
Priscilla, I'm telling the truth. I don't know where it is. Okay, Carrie left, and I...
And here we are.
No answers means no reason to keep her breathing, because that money belonged to the boss, Wayne Whitaker. John skimmed it out from under Priscilla, who was handling it. Then Carrie took it out from under both of them, which leaves Lucky and Priscilla holding nothing, and both of them in the exact same amount of trouble. They bind her wrists and tear the bag off her hip, and then they fold her into the trunk.
Take her back to the house.
She has no idea how long she's been in there when she gets a hand on her father's lighter. Nobody's coming, so she burns through the rope and swallows the pain. The trunk isn't empty either. She finds a flashlight and a road flare and quietly pushes them through into the back seat. She sparks the flare and throws it, because the only way out of a moving car is chaos, and you only get a shot at it if you're willing to die trying. The car leaves the road almost immediately. Between the smoke and the fists flying, it rolls. In a wreck like that, whoever wakes up first wins, and Lucky lives up to her name. The back seat is the safer place to be. But the second she's on her feet, one of them hits her from behind. He pins her down and gets both hands around her throat. And with her vision going black, her fingers close around a screwdriver in her pocket. And that's where episode 1 leaves us. Here's the irony. Her name is Lucky, and she's somehow the luckiest and the unluckiest person in this entire show. One woman, completely alone, hunted by the law and the mob at the same time. And this is only the opening move. So where is Carrie hiding? What's really buried underneath that $10 million? And what is her father playing at from inside a prison cell? And how does Lucky fight her way out of a corner this tight? Here's the strange thing about running for your life. She keeps getting slowed down by random strangers. The car needs gas, and every minute she loses is another minute for the FBI or the mob to close in.
Oh, what do you think? Snickers? Or Baby Ruth? That's got the nuts, right?
But the more she rushes, the slower everything moves.
Hey, can I put 40 on 7 while he makes up his mind?
And she has no idea what's already walking through the door. Because the second she turns around, there he is. The mob's enforcer. Tale or coincidence, it doesn't matter. If this guy gets his hands on her, she's finished. Lucky ducks behind a shelf. Maybe he grabs what he came for and leaves.
5 lucky 10 scratchers.
Got it.
What she doesn't count on is the store's security monitor putting her face up on screen.
5 lucky 10 scratchers.
The shot only takes out a bottle of oil. But now there's no running.
Hey, Dutch. How's it going?
You know me. Living the dream.
The clerk calls the cops. Not that it helps. Feds or mob, it ends the same way for her. Dutch wants one thing. Where's the money? And my husband took it and ran is not going to fly. There's no talking her way out of this one, so it's time to bring out the heavy artillery. So she keeps stalling with her mouth while her hand flicks open her father's lighter, and she's gone. Except Dutch doesn't panic when his leg goes up in flames. He just grabs the extinguisher off the wall and handles it in about 3 seconds. So 2 legs are not going to be enough. Getting out of sight is the better play. She folds herself down behind a vehicle. Lucky. She needs a way out fast, or this maniac is going to finish what he started, and then she catches a break. Sirens, somewhere off in the distance. Push it any further, and Dutch has problems of his own. So he does the math, turns around, and walks right back into the store. Because with the mob, there's at least something to negotiate. Get picked up by the FBI, and nothing she says is going to save her. And right when she's out of moves, one of her father's lessons hands her the answer.
You're only in danger when you're not in control.
Dutch grabs a scratch card off the counter, buys himself one shot at some luck on the way out, and hits it. Looks like the cops won't be giving him any trouble tonight. What he never once considers is that the woman he's hunting just climbed into the bed of his own truck. Because Lucky has worked out the rule. The most dangerous place in the room is usually the safest. If you want to flip a losing hand, you have to use your opponent's weakness against him. That's what the real professionals do. They set the trap inside the disadvantage. Now let's pick up where we left off. Lucky survived the crash, but out here the sun is doing its best to finish the job. This is open desert. She walks for hours without seeing another living soul. And just as she's about to give out, a house appears in the distance. That's all the fuel she needs. She drags herself toward it. She has no idea how long it takes, but she finally makes it to a water tap in the yard.
Get away from my girls.
So thirsty, I've been walking for hours.
Yeah?
Her story is a car accident, no insurance, so no ambulance. All she wants is a ride to the nearest town, which is 40 miles away. She's landed on a good person. The woman cleans and dresses her wounds right there. And to get her guard all the way down, Lucky reaches for another lie. The boyfriend pushed her out of a moving car. As it happens, the woman has lived that exact story. Sympathy, instantly. Lucky pushes further. The boyfriend's a cop, so calling the police would only make it worse. What she doesn't think about is that every one of these lies is spending somebody's ordinary, decent trust. Still, it buys her shelter. And for the first time all day, room to think. Here's what actually happened. Her father asked her to move move the money, and with Carrie's help, she cleared out the whole stash. The plan, once they left that storage unit, was to get the cash out of the country. Instead, Carrie saw $10 million in front of him and decided he'd rather have all of it. Forget for a second whether that money is legal. Being betrayed by your own husband is more than enough to break someone. But here's the bigger problem. That money belongs to Wayne Whitaker. His crew ran a fake biodiesel operation and pulled $200 million out of the government over 2 years. Laundering it was Priscilla's job, except the number was enormous and the pipeline could only move so much at a time. Cash piled up. The book stayed messy for years. And that's the gap Lucky's father spotted. He and Priscilla go way back as more than colleagues, so he knew exactly how long it would take her to reconcile anything. He knew she was going to prison eventually, and he knew Whitaker wouldn't be auditing anyone in the meantime, so he moved it the way ants move a hill. A little at a time, until close to 10 million had quietly walked out of the pile. But sitting in a cell, he couldn't protect it. His daughter was the only person alive who could move that money, which is why he spent her entire childhood teaching her how to lie, how to disappear, and how to survive. Now it's all out in the open, and both families are locked in the same loop. Nobody believes anybody. If that money doesn't come back fast, Whitaker will have Lucky and Carrie killed. And on top of that, the two of them are wanted by the FBI for everything attached to it.
So she needs to bring me the money, John, quickly. Then I can just smooth things over with Wayne, keep both of our kids from getting killed.
Your boy, he went rogue.
They're both playing dumb while knowing exactly what's going on, because how much love actually survives $10 million? Priscilla's first move to find her son is the rental car office. A little cash across the counter, and she has the GPS history on Carrie's rental. And the history is strange. The car sat at an outlet mall for an entire day. She calls it in to Dutch and they split up, because Dutch has just learned the police already have the crash site locked down, which means Lucky walked away from it. Whichever direction she went, she can't have covered more than 20 miles. So he pulls up satellite maps and starts working through the handful of buildings inside that radius. Priscilla, meanwhile, finds her son's rental car, and inside it, a napkin with a California address written on it. She knocks politely. The man who answers has never heard the name Carrie in his life, so she stops being polite. There's no sign of her son in the house, and she doesn't waste another word on the guy. She just tells her people to put him in the trunk and hold him for questioning. Back at the crash site, the police have nothing useful. No ID on the dead man. The car is registered to a shell company in another state. But Agent Rand knows better. The distance alone ties this to Lucky, because somebody in that passenger seat clearly got out and then climbed back in before the fire. And here's why Rand is so invested. What she actually wants is Wayne Whitaker behind bars, and there's some personal history baked into that, which makes the money the piece of evidence that convicts him. So she brings in dogs, and before dark they hit something. Rand climbs a rise and sees a house in the distance with the lights on. Not long after that, Lucky hears fast, heavy knocking at the door. She peels back the curtain, and Agent Rand is standing on the porch. The room goes cold. So Lucky tells the homeowner the truth, sort of. That's a colleague of the abusive boyfriend. She's here to drag her back.
Go to the girl's bedroom, keep them quiet, I'll handle this. Yeah.
Lucky picks up a dinner knife and slips into the kid's bedroom.
Okay, so we're gonna stay in here and do our best to be quiet, all right?
Once lying becomes a habit, even lying to children gets its own careful design.
You guys keep a secret.
She tells them about the boyfriend who hurts her, and that the woman outside is in on it, and that if she gets taken back, she'll be hurt again. It's a lie with some mercy in it. At least this way, if it comes apart, the kids aren't accessories to anything. But Rand doesn't buy any of it, because she's already noticed 4 freshly washed plates in the kitchen.
Who's the 4th dish for?
The woman has nothing to say to that, and then she hears about the killing and the fire from the night before. Lucky reads the shift instantly and eases the bedroom door shut. She's blown. She tells the kids she's going to grab a few things and that as long as they stay quiet, everything will be fine. Her instincts are right. It turns out a federal agent is more convincing than she is. The second the woman brings both kids outside, Rand moves in, but Lucky's already ahead of it. She times her run into the woman's bedroom, digs through her purse, stuffs whatever cash is in there into her pocket, and gets the window open. By the time Rand comes through the door, there's nobody left to arrest. She takes the family truck. She lifted the keys during that hug hours earlier.
Lucky!
She leaves the dinner knife buried in Rand's tire, and she's on the highway before anyone can follow. And every piece of that, she ran it as a drill with her father when she was a little girl.
How did you know that would work?
Every person's got a rhythm. You learn to play it, you can make them dance.
Where are we running to?
We are not running. People only run when they're in danger, and you're only in danger if you're not in control. We are in control.
That's the real reason Lucky keeps getting away. She's still carrying the guilt when the fuel light comes on. And at that exact moment, Dutch's car passes her going the other way. And then the radio helpfully announces that police are looking for a stolen brown pickup.
Mojave County last spotted heading east. Drivers believed to be a Caucasian female, late 20s, blonde hair.
Dutch doesn't hesitate. One hard turn and he's facing the other way. Lucky pulls into the gas station, and that brings us right back to the top of this video. And that's where episode 2 of Lucky leaves us. Turns out the lucky part was never luck at all. It was a childhood of training. Everybody in this story is chasing the same pile of money, and she's the only one being ground up between them. Maybe she never wanted to be the bad guy. She just got raised into a life where lying and running are the only things that keep her breathing. So, how does a world-class con artist change identities on the fly? She's just walking past a rich family's house when she spots a way to get everything she needs for free. First, she quietly opens the mailbox by the gate and pulls the owner's name off an envelope. Then she listens. Kids crying somewhere inside. And just like that, she's an assistant from the party staff.
Naomi just hired me to help with the kids.
Big friendly hello, and she's already helping a guest unfold a stroller. The mom's guard drops instantly. Lucky is so helpful there isn't a crack in it anywhere. One more glance at that name on the envelope and she's chatting with the little boy like she's known him for years, which means security reads her as a friend of a guest, and the mom with the stroller reads her as staff the host arranged specially. The whole thing runs like silk. No invitation, no one to vouch for her, and she just walks through the front door of a mansion. And if security is this soft, everything after this gets easy. She strolls in slowly, scanning the layout as she goes. If she can get across that courtyard clean, it proves she's officially invisible in this crowd.
Don't worry about this. You guys enjoy the party.
Every eye at a birthday party is on the kid. So while everyone's distracted, she slips upstairs, plays it off as looking for a bathroom, and starts checking rooms one at a time. She doesn't rush it. Only once she's sure nobody's around does she push open the door to the walk-in closet. And in here, there's enough clothing to turn her into somebody else entirely. Off comes the cheap jacket, and on goes a silk evening dress that belongs to a completely different tax bracket. The heavy denim boots go too, swapped for a clean pair of heels. And of course the right jewelry, because that's what actually sells it. Under 3 minutes, and she's gone from hired help to VIP guest. A quick touch-up on her makeup, and she can walk right out. But then something she didn't plan for.
Oh my God, nice dress.
She steps into the bathroom and there's another woman already in there. Lucky covers instantly. She spilled red wine on herself and the lady of the house told her to come up and change.
Take a Birkin while you're at it, she won't notice. Plus, Neil's gonna get everything in the divorce anyway.
What she doesn't expect is that this woman is wearing borrowed clothes too. Well, in that case, no need to be polite. And from there, the conversation just flows. She catches a smear of blood on her own face and calmly cleans it off with a bit of spit, then throws in a joke about the host having more money than taste and a complaint that she's been faking a headache all night to avoid drinking. Same as the other woman.
Actually, could you help me with it? I'm not really sure how my dress is supposed to go. Like, is it?
That's right. Your dress.
And this is Lucky's real superpower. Strangers, threats, doesn't matter. She finds the soft spot fast, matches their energy, and walks away with their trust. Sometimes it's the only thing standing between her and a bullet. A couple of sentences in, and the two of them sound like they've been friends for years. That instinct for reading a room and improvising on the spot is exactly why she keeps slipping through the fingers of both the mob and the FBI.
To you. To you.
Once the party actually starts, every single guest crowds around the birthday kid for the song, which is Lucky's moment, and she hears her father's voice in her head.
You're gonna grab any cards that aren't attached to presents. Those are the ones with cash. Then hit the purses.
They're gonna see me.
No, they're not. You're gonna be invisible.
How am I gonna be invisible? I'm not even invited to this party.
Invisibility is a matter of environment.
Everything she's doing right now, she rehearsed with him 100 times as a child. When the moment lands, every handbag and jacket the guests left lying around, every bit of cash on the tables, every gift, it all becomes supply, and it's all within reach. Then a decent tip to the valet on her way out, and the guy at the gate doesn't have the faintest idea he's watching the same assistant who was carrying bags and babysitting an hour ago. Now let's pick up where episode 2 left off. Lucky climbed into the bed of Dutch's truck, and when she wakes up, it's already daylight. The truck is parked at at a horse ranch halfway up a hillside. She waits for her moment, then slips into a stall and hides. Not long after, through a gap in the boards, she sees something that stops her cold. A man beaten half to death. It's the guy Priscilla grabbed from that address, and even after all of it, he still hasn't given up anything about her husband. Dutch doesn't waste words, just one last small question.
Did you make a new ID for Terry Masterson?
I don't make IDs, man. I don't know it.
Except the mob doesn't want explanations, and it definitely doesn't want begging. It wants an answer. They take one of his fingers, and they still don't get a location on Carrie. Then Priscilla arrives, and that pushes the whole thing straight to its final step. He really doesn't know anything. So Dutch just puts one in him and ends it. Lucky watches every second of it from inside the stall. She forces herself calm, waits until there's no sound outside, then eases the gate open. Because that body is now her only lead on her missing husband. Nobody at the ranch is paying attention. She crouches, grabs the driver's license off the ground, and finds out the dead man lived in Los Angeles. She takes the ID and gets out of there. And here's the lucky part. Dealing with bodies is a job for the low-level guys, which means Priscilla and Dutch will never know that license is gone. All they've got is a theory. Somebody hit Carrie on the road and took the money.
Flashed some cash to the wrong people, got rolled.
And whether Lucky has it is a question they can only answer once they get their hands on her. Which brings us right back to the birthday party and the wealthy woman Lucky just turned herself into. She punches the dead man's address into the GPS, hoping there's something in that house that explains where her husband went. But the place has already been torn apart. There's a pool of blood soaking into the carpet. The game console is still sitting on pause. The one useful thing is the guy's phone, still on the table, except there's nothing new on it. So she carefully wipes her prints off the screen. The mob has clearly been through every inch of this place, but a casino trash bag left by the door catches her eye. She turns and looks at the house number, half hidden behind some flowers. Turns out this address is actually 2 households, so she goes through to the back and knocks on the neighbor's door.
You lost?
Maybe a little.
It sounds like a street password, and she doesn't have the right answer. So she pretends to walk away, but then she hears the follow-up question. And she jumps on it. She was referred by somebody who told her, this is where you come when you need anything.
I need to become someone else.
How'd you find me?
Honestly, some guy on Reddit.
Stay sharp and stay fast. And that's how Lucky finds herself inside a forgery operation. Her story is that she's getting divorced and needs a whole new identity to start over. The truth is a lot messier than that, because everything good she ever had with her husband is still right there in her head. And when the flash goes off, it drags her straight back into reality. Then she's flipping through their ID templates and there's her husband's photo. Everything clicks. She knows exactly what she's doing next. So she doesn't waste a second. She heads straight for the address on that fake ID. On the way, her father calls from prison. She swears she's getting every dollar of that cash back, but his son-in-law just torched a marriage, and John is worried she'll let feelings run the operation. The money is what matters. Don't blow the whole thing chasing revenge. And remember, a man who'd run off with all of it is capable of a lot worse.
Yes, I got it. In and out.
The address on the ID is a vacation house, and there's an agency sign out front listing it as a rental. She watches a delivery guy ring the bell. So how does she get inside without being seen, the way her father taught her? That night, she plants herself in the busiest bar in the area and orders 2 whiskeys. And then she just keeps letting her eyes drift over to one side of the room. Because if someone's been staring at you, sooner or later, you'll catch them looking back. Sure enough, the real estate agent takes the bait.
No. You remind me of someone.
She plays a woman fresh out of a breakup, lets herself be charmed by his lines, and being a little drunk, obviously, reluctantly agrees to come back to his office for a coffee.
Well, what do you do, fancy pants?
Real estate.
He does real estate.
I do real estate.
La-di-da.
Lucky agrees to exactly 1 more drink and then pretends the alcohol has completely taken over. But at the critical moment, she says she has to text her girlfriend so someone knows where she is. Her phone's dead, of course. So could she borrow his? He was busy trying to take advantage of her, and he walked straight into it.
You also thought I was drunk.
Because what she actually does is send a message to his wife, spelling out exactly what's about to happen in that office.
Just to tell her that you're about to force yourself onto an inebriated woman in your office.
If he'd like to stay married, he can hand over the keys and the door code.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Plenty. But honestly, dude, right now it's about your damage, not mine.
Another problem solved, and Lucky walks right through the front door of the beach house. She takes it slow so she doesn't spook anyone. First, she checks the ground floor through the glass, then carefully makes her way upstairs. Nothing. The bedroom's completely empty. But when she turns around, she sees a figure she'd know anywhere heading down toward the water. It's Carrie. She swallows the urge to run out and confront her father's rule is in, out fast. Take back what's yours first, that's what puts you in control. She slips back inside and enters the code on the door. So where do you hide 2 full cases of cash? Turns out he's already looking at property in Mexico and drinking imported Japanese whiskey while he does it. And right there, everything she just swallowed comes straight back up. She goes into the kitchen, finds a knife, and starts cutting open anything that could hold cash. The sofa and the cushions go first, then the expensive mattress in the bedroom. And it's still not enough. Until she gets to the laundry basket and finds a green backpack with a handgun inside it. And a laptop, because the money isn't in the house at all. Carrie moved every dollar into a digital wallet, and it only opens with a 12-character password. Her mind is already running. Getting that money back is going to take a much longer game. So when Carrie pushes open the front door, what he walks into is Lucky's handiwork everywhere. He turns and quietly closes the door behind him, and then he meets a cold, appraising stare. The air in that room freezes. Trust and betrayal, face to face, and no idea yet how it ends. Meanwhile, the police have gotten to the supermarket where Lucky ran into Dutch, and Rand's partner has found that Carrie rented a car under his mother's name. But Rand is certain she's closing in, so they split it up. The partner chases the vehicle, and she goes through the store's security footage herself. And it doesn't take long. Lucky got into Dutch's truck and rode out of there. So Rand goes straight to the ranch, where she finds a stall that's been scrubbed down with disinfectant. Priscilla denies all of it, so Rand casually mentions that Lucky was hiding in that truck.
She was right under your nose. The whole time. Priscilla.
Both of them are hunting the same money in the same man. And maybe if the police find Priscilla's son first, he actually lives. Because years ago, Priscilla and Lucky's father were quietly working together. John bribed an official at the California Energy Commission and illegally secured a 1-year regulatory permit. That's very likely what made the mob's fuel scheme possible in the first place, and what gave them a safe pipeline for laundering afterwards. And back then, Lucky told her father she wanted no part of skimming that money, all of which was under Rand's surveillance the entire time. So after years on this case, she tells her partner to start pulling records on young men who've recently bought a car outright in cash.
What makes you think he bought a new car?
He's a 29-year-old man with $10 million burning a hole in his pocket.
And Rand called it. The partner turns up a Ford Bronco bought by Carrie, and the ID he used to buy it points straight at the beach house where the two of them are standing right now. At the same moment, Priscilla takes a call from Whitaker.
I found your boy.
And that's where this one leaves us. 3 storylines running in parallel this episode, and every single character has been reduced to a piece on somebody's board. All of their fates are now locked inside one beach house. Maybe there are no real winners here, just people who never got to choose. Let's be clear about who this couple actually is. The wife's father ran a quiet long con. He skimmed the very cash that the mob matriarch, his own daughter's mother-in-law, had personally laundered. Then the husband turned around and made off with $10 million of it in a single night, right out of his wife's hands. Set aside the love and the right and wrong for a second, because their number one problem right now is dodging a 2-front manhunt. The FBI on one side, the mob on the other. And the sins of the older generation have carved a canyon straight down the middle of this marriage. They still love each other, but the lying has turned them into the 2 people who trust each other least. And before they can even finish arguing about it, Priscilla is already at the door.
You're together?
Lucky takes one look and runs. Carrie's caught in the middle, torn both ways.
Honey, I can forgive you.
So which does he choose? You can read it instantly in how he runs.
Idiot.
She sprints down the street, clothes still a mess. He chases right after her. In the panic, Lucky ducks into a parking garage, locks onto a car owner, and puts on a whole sob story performance. A strange man is harassing her.
Excuse me! Please, you need to help me. You see that man? He is chasing me. I do not feel safe. Please, I don't feel safe with him around.
Leave me alone.
She plays the damsel, begs the owner to be her hero, and lifts his keys clean off him without him noticing. Because however fast you run, a car runs faster, and a car cuts their exposure down to almost nothing. The problem is, the second they're inside, they disagree. Lucky wants to head inland. Endless routes to pick from out there. But Carrie thinks south is better. Only once they're across the border can he actually breathe.
wait at the...
Yes.
That's exactly what they're expecting us to do.
I just think it's our quickest out.
And wouldn't you know it? A police cruiser rolls to a stop right beside them. The light's short though. Stay calm, don't do the guilty little glance, and they'll slide right past this. Lucky's been trained for exactly this since she was a kid. Carrie's nerves are nowhere near as steady.
You looking?
I don't know, but don't look.
Only the truly cold can keep their eyes forward. Carrie is not that guy.
So don't look, Carrie.
And of course, that one small glance is exactly what catches the cop's eye. Then a pair of elderly folks start crossing the street painfully slowly, which leaves two choices. Do you floor it and run, or do you sit tight and let the cop leave first? Lucky goes with the second, no hesitation. The two of them watch the cruiser crawl away and finally exhale. Turns out listening to your wife pays off. Carrie lets go of the border plan. But before they can settle on a route, the mob's car is back on their tail because nobody knows a son like his mother. Priscilla already had their escape logic figured out. The moment they slip the police, the mob is locked right back onto their bumper.
I'm just gonna do it.
Out of options, Lucky floors it into oncoming traffic, sends cars slamming into each other across both directions, and still can't shake Priscilla and Dutch. Her mind is racing. Once the mob is stuck to you, losing them is a whole different problem. Good thing her car is a 5.7-liter Charger. Nimble through the turns, it's got a slight edge in a city chase over the comfier 6.2-liter Escalade. But a better car isn't nearly enough. Dutch is glued to them, and he does not care about traffic laws or trading paint. Keep running flat out like this, and the couple ends up cornered in a dead end sooner or later. And right as the whole thing tightens into a stalemate, Lucky forgets one thing. Insane driving gets the police's attention. So now both cars are wanted. She cuts into an alley, the mob peels off the other way.
Catch him on the other side.
They've shaken one tail, but trading it for the cops is worse.
We're fucked.
Stop!
Lucky knows the police know the city, and burying yourself in a narrow alley just cuts off your own exit. So she rushes for the intersection, but their car stands out badly, and Rand has pulled every unit in the area over. Keep running blind, and within minutes, the cruisers converging from every direction will box them in. At that point, not even wings would get them out. However good the car is, it can't outdrive a full cordon. If there's no way out either way, they might as well finally say what's on their minds.
I don't regret us.
Neither do I.
Lucky is 100% certain Carrie isn't lying now, because what comes out of you at the edge of death is the purest truth there is.
What are you doing?
Buying us some time.
Shit!
To buy them time, Carrie tries a desperate move. Shoot out a tire. He underestimates how many cops there are, and the whole line answers with drawn guns. One round happens to punch through a cruiser and sets off a chain collision, but here's the unlucky part. Their car takes a bullet at the same moment.
Carrie? Oh, Carrie, I'm sorry. Hey, baby, don't lay down. Hey, look at me. Hey, it's okay.
Picking up where the last episode left off, Lucky finds the husband who robbed her still alive, and she chokes down the fury. Give up the password to the digital wallet, and she'll let him live. Carrie tries to explain, and she slaps him across the face. If getting one password is going to be this hard, then fine. Let's have the whole story about that money. All of it.
You made me a fucking mark, Gary!
No, that's not what happened.
Bullshit!
I didn't have a choice.
Bullshit again!
Can I explain myself?
No, I don't want to hear it.
While the two of them are locked in the argument, they've got no idea the police have already moved in. Rand called local units to the beach house for backup, and Priscilla catches the same chatter over the radio. Hunted now by both sides, whoever's hands this couple falls into, it's a disaster. But as they fight, the truth finally starts surfacing.
She was going to kill you!
Here's what actually happened. After Priscilla got out, Carrie went straight home to see her, and that's when he learned the boss had put up the lawyer and the steep bail. The real reason for springing her, to make her recover the cash Lucky's father stole. Since visits weren't allowed inside, Priscilla didn't even know the kids had gotten married, which means John, the man who stole the money, is now family. The boss actually wanted to recruit Carrie, but all Carrie wanted was a quiet life with Lucky. So his mother gave a little, get the money back, and she'd talked the boss into letting it go. But there was one thing he needed to hear. The Lucky he loved so much had been a police informant, which is exactly what put his mother and John behind bars in the first place. Carrie's ears rang, and then he sat down thinking hard.
Lucky knows where my money is, and you're gonna bring it to me.
If the money doesn't come back, the boss goes after his mother. And if Carrie doesn't help, once his mother's men get to work, someone's going to end up dead. It's his wife and his mother both drowning at once. Carrie just made the best call he had.
You worked with the feds and you didn't tell me. You're the reason she went to prison.
Well, they were already on to her.
bullshit.
Well, I had no choice.
So however much they argue now, it may not be enough to pull them out of the corner they're in. Because a few years ago, Lucky really was Rand's informant. Here's the mechanism. Through John's introduction, Priscilla bought up huge volumes of natural gas at rock-bottom prices, then resold it high through shell companies. Rand already has a thread, proof that this laundering move is tied to a fraud case, and the mob's final scapegoat could very well land on Carrie and her father. Cooperate with the police, and she can absolutely put both the boss and Priscilla away.
Putting Priscilla behind bars may be the only way to keep him safe.
You can't guarantee that.
No, but I can't keep him out of prison.
For Lucky, this was the perfect chance to shake the mob for good and start a real life over.
Full immunity. For my dad and for Carrie, or else no deal.
You asked for a lot.
But nobody saw this coming. After John and Priscilla were both arrested, Rand couldn't get the court to grant John immunity because he was in too deep.
Do you understand this? This is my life! What is wrong with you? You are a liar!
Back when the couple pulled the money from that storage unit, Carrie had already decided to give it back to his mother, which is why the night before, he didn't sleep at all.
So why didn't you give her the money?
I don't know.
And in Las Vegas, Carrie agonized for a long time before drugging her drink. He tucked Lucky into bed and thoughtfully left a glass of water on the table. The plan was simple. Drop the money in his mother's rental car at the street meet and be done. But through the restaurant window, he watched his mother and Dutch laughing, about to reap the reward without lifting a finger. Disgust hit him all at once. He was done being a piece his mother pushed around the board, so he walked, no hesitation. He'd meant to go back to the hotel and wake Lucky, but Rand had already tracked the team there. He knew what his wife could do. Shaking a few cops was nothing to her. The urgent problem was hiding 2 cases of cash fast. So he moved it like ants moving a hill, depositing it in batches across ATMs all over the place. A full day of that, and every dollar was converted into digital currency. Keeping back only $100,000 to buy the Bronco and forge an ID. Then he rented the beach house. Knowing Lucky would follow the trail he left, he added 12 verification words in front of the withdrawal code to make the crypto even more secure. Now that the misunderstanding is cleared up, what happens to the remaining 9.9 million? They both betrayed each other, and both did it only for the other's sake.
It was never about the money. It was never about the money. It was about you. I love you.
Love and money are 2 different things. No password, and don't be surprised when the gloves come off. And right then, there's fast, hard knocking at the door.
Carrie Masterson, it's the FBI. We know you're in there. Come out slowly with your hands in the air.
It's Rand and her team. But once they're inside, there's nobody there because the couple is already in the car racing back out onto the highway.
It's Lucky. It's fucking Lucky.
With the 2 of them reunited, the manhunt instantly doubles down. Running like this clearly won't hold. A helicopter has them locked from above, and the police will set up a checkpoint ahead for certain. Lucky comes up with a way out. She spots a car identical to theirs, pulls up alongside it, and as they pass under an overpass, she slams to a stop. Now the helicopter can't tell which car it's been following. By the time the police reach the bridge, the 2 of them have already ditched the car and run. Her plan is to find a crowded block to disappear into. But before that happens, we're right back at the scene from the top of the video. The stolen car flips during the escape, and Carrie takes a bullet to the stomach. Lucky just repaired her marriage and loses her husband in the same desperate run.
Fucking wake up! God!
And that's where episode 4 leaves us. She walks away from the crash with one thing in her hands, Carrie's laptop. $9.9 million sitting inside it, behind a code only he knew, and 12 words he never got to say. So now what? Does she find a way to crack those 12 words, or does she walk away from the money for good? Is Carrie actually gone, or is shot in the stomach not the same as dead? And with her father locked up and her husband down, for the first time in her life, there's nobody left to tell her what to do. Her whole life, she followed her father's playbook. Now it's finally her move, and her call alone. For this con artist, running has been hardwired into her since she was a child, but after the chain reaction crash, she doesn't even have time to bury her husband. While she's dodging the police, she notices the private car that got hit first. 2 drivers still inside it, unconscious and barely hanging on. Saving them may be out of her hands. Right now, saving herself is the only road open. But when she climbs into the car, she sees it clearly. One of the old women is still faintly conscious, and it was her own reckless driving that dealt her this fatal blow. The guilt is crushing, but the clock is louder. It drives her to dig out her driver's license. And the moment she's memorized the name, the police arrive on scene. Here's the lucky part though. The first unit to reach them is a single medical crew, so she makes her call instantly and plays one of the crash victims on the spot.
Excuse me, sir, you have to help me. My grandmother, she's hurt. No, I can't lose her.
Lucky knows exactly what she can't do. She cannot let them strap her to a stretcher, get pinned down, and escaping later becomes far harder. And the task force is closing in fast. The only play left is to turn the ambulance into her own escape route.
Please. Thank you.
So Lucky rides out, slipping past the police one more time, but looking at the dying old woman and thinking of the husband she just lost. For the first time, she asked herself honestly, is she a good person or a bad one? She stays with her as long as she can, escorting the gurney right up to the operating room doors. Then she turns around and sees the wounded officer being wheeled in too. Her first instinct is to get out fast, but a doctor stops her, mistaking her for family.
And what's her name?
Ruth Turner.
And you are?
Amanda Turner.
The conversation eats up time and the concussion symptoms start creeping in. Then she spots Agent Rand, the one hunting her, being brought in as well. Any longer and it's too late. So she says she needs some water, sending the doctor off. But 2 steps later, she blacks out and collapses. When she comes to, her backpack is still on the chair, but there's an IV line in her arm. The doctor explains it's adrenaline keeping her going. And in a real crash, adrenaline is exactly what creates the illusion of I'm fine. Lucky's in no position to care. The second the doctor leaves, she's up and off the bed, grabbing her bag. She pulls herself together and slips out. The outfit is far too conspicuous. She has to wash off as much of the blood as she can, but just as she's drying her hands, a child walks in, crying. Maybe it's kindness. She instinctively holds out a wad of tissue. And when she learns the person the child loves most might die, and the last thing the kid said to them was, I hate you, her mind flashes straight back to her own childhood.
I used to tell my dad I hated him all the time. Didn't mean it.
Using her own relationship with her father as the example, Lucky tells the child that hate said out loud isn't real. Parents know this in their hearts, and they understand the other person really just hates what they do. So it's best to say the true thing out loud to let the ones you love know those stupid words were never real. And with that, she hurries out the hospital doors. She's still on the run. Always. But for once, she's done something good with a clear conscience. What she doesn't know is that the crying little girl is the daughter of Agent Rand, who has just been pulled out of danger. Lucky's few heartfelt words genuinely dissolve the wall inside that child, who finally understands that beneath the harsh words lived a whole world of tenderness and worry. Lucky stumbles into a hotel and asks for the cheapest room they've got for the night. She'd prepared a fake ID in advance, so check-in goes through easily. Once the adrenaline drains and the fear settles, she can't help replaying the running that has filled the first half of her life. She and her father once argued about good and evil.
Are we bad people?
What makes you think that?
I'm pretty sure we're not good people.
Giving it a lot of thought, huh?
But he framed it with a metaphor, how far you are from the sun, meaning there's no such thing as evil in this world. The only question is how far you are from good.
Good and evil are man-made concepts. Like everything else man-made, they're highly imperfect. Do you think a lion wastes 1 second wondering whether it's good or bad to kill an antelope? He's doing what he has to survive.
Yeah, but we're not animals.
Only because we say we're not.
Lucky feels desperately alone, and she wonders if she really is a bad person, a kind of animal. She left her husband's body in the car. Everything she touched has turned to nothing. And now, she can't help trying to work out whether she's been the root of the problem all along. She used to know only one thing. Staying alive is the first law of survival, and good and evil are just meaningless noise. Until the moment she caused that crash with her own hands. Now the pain is real, undeniable, and the husband she loved is gone from her for good. That's when she understands it. The fundamental difference between a person and a beast is exactly this: the capacity for guilt, for empathy, for love. She's been tormented by the question of whether she's a bad person, and she's been willing, in every dead end, to give ground for the sake of her conscience. But it's only when she looks straight into her own battered reflection that it finally lands. Running will never get her the answer. She orders the cheapest whiskey they have, hoping to trade one night of drinking for a clear head in the morning. This is her old trick when she's broke. There's always a stranger at the bar willing to cover the room. But this time, something about the man's canceled flight lands differently on her. Even having missed his daughter's birthday party, the fact that he's worried about it at all is enough to make him a decent father. She can tell the difference, because she was raised by a father who never once worried about the damage he did. Worse, she just lost her husband in a crash, and she admits it plainly. On any other day, she'd have found a way to make this guy pay for the room. But tonight she doesn't want to, because she's afraid that sooner or later she'll turn into a bad person.
Those don't have to be your last words.
Okay, Yoda.
This is the first time Lucky chooses honesty, and honesty tends to bring the most unexpected rewards.
Want another drink?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Priscilla is devastated by the loss of her son. She decides to have him cremated immediately, using it to force the boss, Wayne Whitaker, to show up at the memorial. The grief is real enough, but it also looks a lot like an attempt to smooth over the blame for the missing money. And against all expectation, Whitaker genuinely doesn't appear on the day of the service. Crushed and hollow, Priscilla scatters all of Carrie's ashes into the sea alone. Then Dutch brings someone in, and the temperature of the whole scene drops to freezing, because Lucky has chosen to face reality head on. After all, whoever tied the knot has to be the one to untie it.
The money is gone.
What do you mean, gone?
Since only Carrie knew where the money was, that secret has gone into the grave with him, but there's no way Priscilla believes that. So finding the money still falls once again onto Lucky.
The next time I see you, I won't be so goddamn cordial.
In its own way, this is a real step forward for her. Facing something is always cleaner, more direct than running from it. The trouble is, she doesn't know the 12-word password to the digital bank either. So she pours all of that unspeakable emotion into the one thing her husband left behind, a teddy bear.
Apple, hamster, karma, snow, holiday, sunset, pledge, turkey, identity, purpose, fossil, mushroom.
And it's in that exact moment she understands. The password was hidden inside the doll all along. If something ever happened to him, the person he loved would surely want her to have this money. So she enters the recovery phrase. And within moments, $10 million is sitting there in front of her.
Yes!
Carrie left no plain goodbye. He simply trusted that she'd always carry this little teddy bear full of their memories. Maybe that's the deepest kind of love a man can give, and it just happened to cost him his life. After the memorial, Priscilla goes straight to Whitaker. And here's the thing, Carrie was actually their son, the child of them both. Yet Whitaker is cold enough to care about nothing but the money. No room for sentiment at all. So Priscilla, in a fury, hurls the urn straight at him. The way Whitaker sees it, Priscilla has already been compensated for all these years, many times over. And the instant Carrie walked off with the money, he became a target on Whitaker's kill list.
Be out there and you'd be looking for it instead of throwing your little fucking tantrums.
You've got nothing left to threaten me with. I'm not afraid of you anymore.
Priscilla thought she was clear of the threat, but when the boss turns cold, he recognizes no bond, no blood. What she doesn't grasp is that if she were anyone else, she'd already be a corpse on the floor. So Priscilla has to keep looking for the money, even now that she's lost her son. On the other side, Rand is recovering at home, cared for by her daughter. But in the case file, the daughter recognizes the person she'd talked to. It was the wanted fugitive Lucky. And back at the hospital, Lucky had mentioned something about her father, which gives Rand an idea. Set the tiger loose to catch it. So very soon, John, while still serving his sentence, is suddenly told he's being released. And sure enough, the first thing John does is call his daughter. But the moment Lucky hears it, she sees straight through Rand's flush them out scheme. Every lead has gone cold, so releasing her father is the best possible way to find her. Her thinking shifts in an instant, and just like that, she's got a plan to solve the whole problem for good. So she arranges to meet her father at the old spot and lets him know she came through. She has the money. John clearly has total faith in his daughter's plan, but we still don't know what Lucky is really thinking. And before long, the two of them are fully prepared to be arrested. As Rand's team rolls in, this bloody saga born of $10 million pulls back its curtain on a brand new act.
You're under arrest.
Took you long enough.
And that's where this one leaves us. Here's what won't add up. Lucky has the $10 million and a father she loves. So why are the two of them just standing there, letting Rand's team close in? Nobody walks willingly into an arrest without a reason. She's planning something. The question is what? Is she selling her father out to buy her own freedom? Is she buying his? Or is the whole arrest the con, the real play hidden underneath it? With Carrie gone, Priscilla still hunting her, and Whitaker's kill list already drawn up. Everyone in this story wants that money, and Lucky is the only one who has it. For her whole life, she survived by one rule: stay alive and never mind good or evil. A beast survives on strength alone. A person is held together by something more: guilt, empathy, the ability to love. And a great story is just a mirror. So if it were you, how would you choose between the money and the line you won't cross? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see you in the next part. She's the high IQ con artist the FBI has been hunting, and right as she's about to slip away for good, she gets a call from her father. His sentence isn't up, but he's suddenly being released. Lucky knows exactly what this is. It's a trap the police have laid for her. But rather than run, she meets it head on. She sees straight through their scheme, and instead of fighting it or fleeing, she decides to turn their own play against them. Her father reads it the same way, so the two of them join forces once again, and this time their target is the police themselves, Agent Rand and her whole operation. But after they're brought into the station, the two of them aren't interrogated at all. Instead, they're set up very politely in an office. Lucky isn't surprised, because she knows the real reason Rand wants her, the $10 million she's holding. And for Lucky, that money is the last bargaining chip she and her father have. That's right. She plans to use that cash to trade for their freedom. But the second the negotiation starts, the whole thing flips. She'd assumed Rand just wanted the win. Hand over the money, and everyone walks away happy.
All right, then let's hear it.
Immunity from all prosecution and my father's sentence commuted.
That money won't buy you that.
What she never saw coming is that Rand wants the money and isn't willing to let either of them go. Rand states it flatly, money or no money, Lucky and her father are both going to prison within the hour. It's obviously a bluff. John calls it the moment he hears it, but knowing it's a power play doesn't change much. As the side with less leverage, the two of them have no choice but to shift tactics. Good thing Lucky came prepared. The money is her bargaining chip, but she's got an ace as well. She makes Rand an offer. Give them their freedom, and on top of the money, she'll help lure out the head of the mob, her mother-in-law, Priscilla, and even the true owner of that cash, the real big fish, Priscilla's boss, Wayne Whitaker. And that bait is genuinely tempting. Rand has spent decades and never once gotten anything to stick on Whitaker. She did arrest Priscilla before, but Whitaker pulled strings, and Priscilla walked after just 2 years. So Priscilla and Whitaker are exactly the two people Rand wants most. If it were anyone else, Rand wouldn't buy it. But the person sitting across from her is the highest IQ con artist in the country. So she takes the gamble, she kicks this bold, completely against protocol proposal up to her superiors. Rand had already irritated the higher-ups once, breaking the rules to release John and use him as bait to trap Lucky. Now, she's finally got the two of them in custody, and she wants to let them go all over again. But Rand is dead certain this is a once-in-a-lifetime shot at bringing in Whitaker and Priscilla. As for the fallout, she's willing to take all of it. Meanwhile, the father and daughter start working out their own plan.
Okay, one of two things is about to happen. Either she's going to come back in here alone, in which case we can write her own ticket, or he comes with her, and if that happens, I'm on my way back to prison before this coffee gets cold. Okay, it's on.
Just don't piss her off, okay?
You're telling me that?
Just let me do the talking.
I believe I've let you.
Dad?
Okay, fine. You got it. Your boss doesn't look too happy. Should we be talking to him?
Turns out the old fox still has the sharpest teeth.
Do we have a deal?
Yes, you do.
In the end, both sides settle on it. The father and daughter's freedom is the chip they'll use to lure Priscilla and Whitaker out. In the meantime, the police put them up in a hotel, watching them around the clock. At this point, Lucky's plan is maybe half a success at best. But while she's talking with her father, a rift opens up between them. As the old hand he is, John thinks a chance like this doesn't come twice. They should seize the moment, take the money, and disappear for good. Lucky pushes back. Her whole life, her father raised her by hand into a professional con artist. She never got the childhood she should have had, and she spent every night living inside nightmares. She finally found someone she loved, and then that very money got her husband killed. So for her, she's sick to death of this life. The constant danger, the endless hiding. And over it, the two of them have the worst fight they've ever had.
Do you have any idea what it was like to grow up with you as a father? Do you even have a clue what I've been through?
What are you talking about? You had a great childhood. Do you know how many kids would have killed to grow up the way you did?
Oh my God, you can't be serious.
How many fathers do you think put in the time I put in with you day after day, year after year? I'll help you out with that one. None. You had seen and learned more by the time you were 8 years old than most college kids. You always had me.
But that was all that I had. Okay, I should have been in school, learning algebra and having crushes on boys, and instead I was running fiddle games and pigeon drops with you. Do you understand that I wake up every night certain that you're gonna come rushing in and tell me that I have to grab my things and get in the car because you skipped out on rent? You were so certain that the next score would be the big one, but the big one never came.
Yes, it did.
We are in this mess because of that. Just like we were 2 years ago with the gas scam, and just like then, it falls on me to save you from yourself.
What are you talking about? You didn't save anyone. I got arrested.
Now, how do you think that the FBI built their case against Priscilla?
It's only now that John learns the truth. That back when he was arrested, it was because his daughter gave him up. Except it wasn't really Lucky who betrayed him. It was Rand who betrayed Lucky.
It was you?
You were in over your head. Whitaker was gunning for you, and you couldn't see it, so yes, I worked with Rand.
You turned me in?
No, I turned Priscilla in.
You knew what would happen.
She told me that it would just be her.
And you believed her?
Yes.
Then you are an idiot.
Rift or no rift, the plan moves ahead anyway. After all, only Lucky knows the password to where the money is stored. Worried Rand will double-cross her again, she insists she won't return the money until everything is over. So, as agreed, Lucky makes her move. Step 1 is a meeting with Priscilla. Her thinking is simple. To keep Priscilla from getting suspicious, she has to tell her the plain truth.
So how'd you find it?
Carrie left me some breadcrumbs. Just took me a minute to figure it out.
Where's my money?
Somewhere safe.
Okay. What's the play?
No play. I don't want it.
So give it to me. Off you go.
Well, no, it's Wayne's money. I would like to give it to him personally.
I'll handle that part.
No, I need to do it myself.
Yeah, he doesn't take meetings.
He'll take this one.
You little shit. You don't dictate terms to Wayne Whitaker.
I do today.
That money is Whitaker's, but it was stolen out of Priscilla's hands. So for Priscilla, getting the cash back to Whitaker fast is the only way she gets herself off the hook, which is why, faced with Lucky's proposal, Priscilla chooses to believe her. After all, the offer works in her favor too, but as for where they'll meet, Priscilla has to run it by Whitaker first.
So how did it go?
Okay. I think.
You think? Did she agree to the hotel?
Yeah, about that. She was testing me. If I insisted, she would have known it was a setup, so.
All right, so where's it happening?
She will let me know. We're gonna have to improvise some. Sorry.
Once she's reported in, Lucky heads back to the hotel. And this time, it's John who breaks the ice. He goes to Lucky and apologizes.
Your mom passed, and it was just me and this tiny human, and I wasn't ready for it, you know? I didn't know what you needed, so I did the only thing I knew how to do. I taught you how to survive in the life that you were born into. Anyway, I'm really sorry, kid. I'm sorry I'm just now understanding what a shitty father I've been.
I shouldn't have said all those things.
I just want you to know, no matter how fucked up it wasn't because I didn't love you enough. I did. I do. I always will.
Father and daughter make peace. Now, all they have to do is wait for Priscilla's answer. Finally, in the small hours, Lucky gets the call. Whitaker has agreed to meet, and he's given her an address. Rand immediately starts positioning her people for the takedown, because remember, Lucky and her father are con artists at worst. Whitaker is something else entirely. He kills, he burns, there's nothing he won't do. So John is genuinely afraid something could happen to Lucky. Before she leaves, he passes on as many tricks as he can, but here's what nobody could have predicted. The one who ends up in danger next isn't his daughter at all. Rand sets out with Lucky for the operation, while John waits back at the hotel. And as an agent is chatting with him, there's suddenly a strange noise outside the door. No need to ask, something has gone wrong.
Gates? Gates!
Who is the killer? For that, you'll have to wait for the finale. See you there. Facing down both the police and the mob, Lucky pushes her genius past its limit one more time. After conning the mob out of $10 million, can she really slip both the mob's kill order and the FBI's net?
Priscilla.
God, I'm sorry.
Picking up right where we left off. After the FBI's careful advanced setup, Lucky, led by Agent Rand, heads to a natural gas terminal. In exchange for calling off the hunt on her and her father, she's there to personally return the $10 million her father skimmed from the boss. And Priscilla, acting as the go-between, is trying to use this same deal to make up for the lost money on behalf of Whitaker, the biological father of her dead son. But right before they set out, the enforcer, who's been at her side for years, shows up with something. It's a watch found in her dead son's car. Priscilla is deeply moved by the gesture. This time, the old partner can't be there to guard her. But maybe carrying her son's keepsake will bring some luck along the way.
Hey, Dutch. How you doing?
Living the dream.
On Whitaker's side, it looks like he already thinks he's holding a winning hand. And on the police side, they've long since set up at the meeting point too. This operation is being taken seriously enough that even Rand's own boss shows up in person. Because the natural gas terminal is wide open terrain, the ambush position is a full kilometer from the backup units. Lucky is wired with a listening device, but she has to get Whitaker to admit to the gas fraud out loud before she'll hand over the phone and the password. The safe word is set as genius. The moment she says it, Rand fires, covering from a distance so Lucky can escape. But if things go sideways on the ground, she'll be facing the danger alone, at least for a while. Rand and her superior climb onto an oil and gas storage tank, watching from the high ground through binoculars. The truth is, even the FBI isn't sure about this, because Lucky looks anxious and on edge the whole time. After a long wait, she finally sees Whitaker and Priscilla appear in front of her. She's clearly worked out her opening line, and she goes straight into probing them, starting with Carrie, the man connected to all three of them. Turns out Carrie was so afraid of inheriting Whitaker's flaws that he even hoped any child of his would be a girl. So when Carrie stole the money, what he was really doing was taking revenge on his own biological father.
That was his special way of saying, fuck you, Wayne.
But this angle gets her nowhere. Whitaker doesn't even care whether his son is alive or dead, never mind any notion of a father's pride.
And you have used up the last shred of my patience. Like you said, we haven't met before, but I'm going to give you a friendly piece of advice. Money only means so much to me. There's a principle here. That's something a two-bit hustler like you will never understand. And if you push me to the point where I think that I will derive some measure of satisfaction from killing you, I will consider it well worth the price. So I ask again, where is my fucking money?
So Lucky plays the softer card. She pulls out the police-monitored phone. The balance is short by a few $1,000s, but that was Carrie spending it on the rental and the car. As for it being converted to cryptocurrency, that was her husband too, moving it in secret without telling her. And the password is stored in her head, her one guarantee of getting out safely. Priscilla panics on the spot. Doing this is basically forcing Whitaker to kill Lucky to tie off the loose end. But what Lucky says next fast forwards the whole deal straight to its final beat.
Well, I didn't think I had to since Wayne already knew. Right, Wayne?
What?
Wayne knew the money was converted into crypto. Same way he knew how to find Carrie in La Jolla.
What the hell is she talking about, Wayne?
The same way he knows the FBI is here, listening to every word we say. His buddy Agent Kershaw told him.
It turns out Rand's own superior is the mole inside the police. So how does this standoff resolve now?
Why don't we just get this out in the open, shall we?
Lucky lays every card on the table, and Rand up on the oil tank. What's she supposed to do? Even with backup a kilometer away, she plainly has no chance to give the order. Thankfully, she forces the man to drop his gun. Kicking it across the ground takes a little danger off the table. Back to Lucky. She'd guessed the tie between Whitaker and the mole isn't very solid, and that it's a recently formed connection. Otherwise, when Priscilla and her father John were arrested, they'd have gotten advance warning. But Whitaker had a card in reserve. Taking advantage of the gap in police protection, he'd grabbed John.
If you hurt him, your money is as good as gone.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. She still thinks she's calling the shots. I'll take that seed phrase now.
Whitaker gives a single nod, and John takes a heavy punch. And things aren't going smoothly for Rand either. Her superior admits right there to being a mole for 2 years. But he knows the arrest process inside and out. So he quickly seizes a chance to fight back, and the two of them end up grappling. What he doesn't know is that Rand, when she fights for her life, is a match for any grown man. The second she catches her breath, she crawls toward the pistol that's fallen nearby. But her superior manages to break free, throws himself into a rolling lunge, and hurls her clean off the tank. Maybe it just isn't her time. At the critical instant, she grabs onto a transfer pipe with everything she has, and after a struggle, she hauls herself back up while he isn't looking. She spots him going for the gun and rushes a flying kick straight at his backside, but her strength gives out and instead she gets shoved toward the edge of the tank. Clearly, keep going like this and she's dead. So she swings the walkie-talkie up and cracks him with it. Meanwhile, things reach their own breaking point on Lucky's side. John understands full well that once his daughter hands over the money, neither of them walks away. Better to be shot dead sooner. That way, his daughter, the one guarding the password, still has a sliver of a chance. What does she choose here? Lucky's mind is racing.
We walk. I text you the seed phrase.
New plan. Fuck the money.
Whitaker can't wait any longer for the money. He wants John to watch his daughter die right in front of him. So he hands the gun to Priscilla, telling her that whoever caused the mess should be the one to clean it up. One is an old flame she once had something with. One is the daughter-in-law her dead son deeply loved. One is the cold-blooded biological father of that son. For Priscilla, who spent her whole life in this world, what does she choose? Priscilla's choice is to turn and put a bullet in Whitaker. At the same moment, Rand gets her hands on the fallen pistol too. And the reason Priscilla has the nerve to do it is that she knows the ever-loyal Dutch will arrive in time. In the chaos, Lucky pulls her father John up and rushes to find cover. And all of Priscilla's lifetime of swallowed grievance and the pain of losing her son, she pours every bit of it back into Whitaker, round after round.
Priscilla. If you had tried even once to be any kind of a father to my boy, you wouldn't be in the position you're in right now.
And just like that, Carrie's death finally gets its reckoning. Honestly, the most ruthless person in the whole series is the enforcer Dutch. He doesn't let the last one slip the net either. After a fight, he shoves Whitaker's bodyguard down into an oil tank, and in under half a minute, he chokes the poor guy to death. Badly wounded, the father and daughter who survived the gun barrel don't get far before they run into Dutch, coming after them armed. It seems years of grudges have to end here, once and for all.
Hello, John.
Dutch?
Let's go.
When Dutch marches the two of them over to meet up with Priscilla, even Priscilla didn't expect it to end this way. But time's short. They have to figure out what to do before the police arrive. Even though every terrible piece of this was set off by John's own bottomless greed, Lucky still wants her freedom. And letting her go is the step Priscilla has to take toward her own kinder self.
Give me a chance. Or you can kill us, but I'm done running. From you. From anyone.
Maybe Priscilla is just sick of all the killing. Maybe Lucky's honest words got through to her. Whatever it is, Priscilla has Dutch cut the ropes and agrees to let the father and daughter drive off in Whitaker's car. As for the $10 million, Priscilla honors her son's dying wish to leave it to Lucky.
I think he'd want you to have it.
Thank you.
Lucky bastard.
Either way, Priscilla never wants to lay eyes on this trouble magnet pair again. And so Lucky drives off from the scene immediately. The father and daughter finally have their so-called freedom, but the police manhunt is still a hurdle they can't get around. By the time Rand makes it over, all that's left on the ground are the bodies of Whitaker and his men, which shows money can't fix a fracture in a family, and it can't heal a wound that's been festering for a lifetime. They drive deep into the night before Lucky and John finally check into a motel. But there's one thing John is curious about. How did Lucky know Whitaker's plan? The truth is, the mole was only ever an educated guess on her part.
You blew the whole thing up based on a hunch?
Well, I was either right or it was one hell of a bluff, so.
Thankfully, everything's gone quiet now. The two of them decide to celebrate with burgers. John talks about a dream he had in prison. His daughter is his lucky star, and the moment a guard sees a swaddled baby strapped to his chest, they'd open the door without a second thought. But Lucky keeps having the same nightmare over and over. She's underwater, unable to breathe. Clearly, it's a trauma lodged deep in her memory that won't let go. John just says time smooths everything over. Now that there's this fortune, the father can't help asking his daughter what she plans to do next. To his surprise, Lucky has no thought of splurging. All she wants is out of this life of running.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm serious. I'm done.
Seeing his daughter so set on it and knowing a father can't force the issue, John just nods that he understands. There's only one last question left to answer.
How'd you find the seed phrase?
About the password her husband left behind, Lucky casually takes out the little keepsake the two of them shared. She just squeezes the bear's chest, and the 12-word recovery phrase reads itself out loud. Hearing it, John marvels at how clever Carrie was. But Lucky suddenly tastes the bitterness underneath it all. The father and daughter talk long into that night. But when she wakes the next day, Lucky's stunned to find John already gone without a word, and the car they drove back is nowhere to be seen either. That's when it hits her. Her father still couldn't change his greedy nature, exactly as she'd predicted. John hadn't just quietly driven off with the car. He'd also stolen the bear, holding the password. But when he squeezed its chest, what came out instead was Lucky's voice, choked with sudden grief.
I had a feeling you'd do this. The feeling I've been ignoring for most of my life. I don't remember a time when you weren't working an angle.
Because Lucky had remembered her childhood. To extort a settlement out of a resort hotel, John had made his daughter, who couldn't swim, jump into the pool, promising a good Samaritan would save her. She stood at the edge for a long time, hesitating, and when she finally jumped, she nearly choked and drowned. John hadn't spared a single thought for his daughter's safety. Deep down, it was only ever about himself. That's the Reaper beckoning to her in the nightmare. At the last possible moment, she was pulled to shore by a passing mother. When the hotel manager rushed over at the news, she finally understood. She was nothing but a pawn in an extortion scam. And this time was no different. For $10 million, John would of course choose himself again. Lucky won her father his freedom. But in the end, what he does with that freedom is up to him.
I'm not anymore. I hope you use it wisely.
No one knows a father like his daughter. John can't help but laugh at his own miserable situation. After that, Lucky keeps her promise and mails a package to the FBI. Rand opens it and lets out a breath of relief. Inside is the laptop worth $10 million and the password. And as Lucky retreats to the seaside she's always dreamed of, the story of Lucky comes to its end. So what was this show actually about? What I saw was the curse of the family you're born into, and it had nothing to do with the mob or the FBI chasing her. Across 7 episodes, the director hammers one truth again and again. More lethal than any bullet, and more wounding than any betrayal, is a parent who treats their own child as a chip to be cashed in. What John stole wasn't just the cold cruelty of human nature, it was the last shred of hope his daughter had left in her father. The man Priscilla shot dead wasn't a lover, it was the biological father who let his own son die with his eyes open. And Lucky finally reaches the sea. She'll spend the rest of her life trying to escape that nightmare where she can never breathe. No feast lasts forever. The writer sums up the whole show's fate in a single line. When all the beautiful things have taken their final bow, what's left is the bitter fruit each person has to swallow alone. See you in the next story.